Yeah. And going back to how you started and got the job for Morning Brew, because I think it touches on the way the world is moving in such an incredible way. It's like the world used to work a certain way and now it works this way or is starting to move this way. So talk a little bit about how you got the job to begin with.
Yeah, it's definitely I'm happy I got the job the way I did. Like I don't know, it all kind of builds towards a certain sort of like brand that I've built. But so right out of college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Like I'm sure this story resonates with a lot of people. But so I moved to Portland, Maine actually, and started working for like this small sports marketing startup. Um, and the biggest skill I kind of developed there, like it was a really small operation, like four of us. Um, and a lot of what I was doing is like reaching out to brands through like basically cold emailing them or like cold DMing people and saying like, hey, I'm representing this esports team. Like, do you want to buy a sponsorship deal with them, basically? Um, and so one, I weirdly learned a lot about esports. Like that was like, I got deep into that world. And then two, I just got really good at cold emailing because I just sent so many. And like, I, when I first got there, I was like using a template and just like firing out just because I was trying to do as many as possible. And then I just like, all right, like screw it. I'm going to try to like get responses from people. Like, what am I doing? And so I just started playing around with different formats and whatnot. And around the same time, I had started reading the Brew, and I was like, okay, finally, I have something that like this is a place where I'd want to work. Like this is my humor. Like I know I can write like this. So then it started becoming, okay, how am I going to find my way into the Brew? And so I actually tried various like leveraging connections and like I like got in contact with two people at the Brew, but it never really amounted to anything. And then, but I had this idea for like they should have a sports newsletter for the longest time because I was living in the sports world from like a sports background. And so I had actually like written this email to Austin and Alex because basically saying like, hey, I have this idea for a sports brew. And I just like had it in my notes section forever. And then like Austin, who is a co-founder of Morning Brew, like tweeted out like, we're looking for some position. I don't even know what position it was. And then like for some reason I saw it on Twitter and I'm like, all right, this is like the sign. Sent the email to Alex and Austin, DM'd Austin and said like, hey, just like sent you an email basically. And then like got a response immediately, just said like just saw it, forwarding it to like our head of content and like Neil. And so like it went from my notes section to like an email to like in contact with the people I needed to talk to in like the span of like 2 minutes. But like also I had worked really hard on that like email and like crafting that email in the past, and then it was just sitting there waiting for like the right moment. And so then after that, so they said, this is a cool idea. Do it, like, let's see the example. And I had not written an example sports brew yet. And so like that night I stayed up till like very, very late, spending all this time like crafting this sports newsletter in the Morning Brew tone. Reading it back, it's like 3 times longer than it should have been. There was like way too much content, like way too many words, but sent it to them over the next day. They looked at it, said, we like it. Like they kind of hedged their bets. They're saying like, we're probably not going to hire you to write a sports newsletter. Like that's not the direction we're going. But like, we do want to look at you we are hiring for a newsletter writer position. And so then literally they said, you want to come out to New York and like that weekend. And so on the bus ride, I actually wrote another newsletter for them to look at. And yeah, kind of, they liked that one. And the rest is kind of history. Like interviewed, went well. And I was at the Brew within a month, basically, from when that cold email was sent. So it was definitely like one of those moments in life where I quickly went from a place where I didn't really want to be to I saw a place I did want to be, like made a plan to get to that place, and then got there. And which was like one of the first times that I had really had a desire to like know what I wanted to do with my life, if you will. And so it was I'm eternally grateful for them for like making it happen. But it's awesome that I'm here now.